Welcome to Salaam Nerds Podcast. We do reviews and recaps of your favorite TV shows, movies, and current events.
Yo, it's the Salaam Nerds. My name is Uneeb, aka Watson Dean. I'm here with my boy Chad.
We drop live episodes on YouTube on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you to all our supporters. Please help us by subscribing and leaving a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All episodes can also be found everywhere podcasts are found.
Yo, it's Salaam Nerds. My name is Jazz, aka some DJ nickname that Neebs would always give me. And I'm here with my co-host Neebs, aka DJ Loverboy. How you doing, brother?
Don't give me that, all right? Don't do that. Listen, this is going to be a weird episode because like when, if we're talking about Star Wars, we're talking about Marvel, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, I can talk for hours. I can talk till I'm blue in the face.
Yes, you can.
But talking about this is going to be very difficult for me and very awkward because this was like a roller coaster. And I'm really excited to talk about this with our guest, Hoda. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. I'm so excited. What's my DJ nickname? DJ What's Hoodie?
Yeah, DJ.
DJ What's
that's so
Hoodie.
goody. That's so good. I like that, DJ. Well, speaking of DJs, let's not talk about DJs. We're not talking about.
Oh boy.
To set the record straight, software engineer.
Yeah. Listen, man. People can have hobbies. It's fine.
You know, if my background wasn't blurred, I intentionally put my DJ mixing controller right there.
Oh man, listen. We're gonna talk about our experiences and not other people's experiences. So I'm gonna put that straight out there. And it's really interesting because my experience on the show was a bit of a roller coaster because as you can see on the show, I'm a little bit anxious, right? I have ADHD. I navigate through that and my anxiety. And I do feel like it was a little exaggerated, but the psycho that I am, I wake up 12 o'clock midnight, watch the episodes, and then I'm like zipping through only my scenes. And then
every cast member did that. Every cast member did that.
And that's the worst thing you could do because you're hyper aware of everything you're doing because you don't see how everyone else comes out. And I was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. I look like a complete idiot. I am a complete loser. I was like, this is the worst thing to ever happen. And I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And then like the messages pouring in, and I was like, wait, did we watch the same show? Like, what do you mean? I'm like,
I swear, I was messaging this guy at like 3 a.m. trying to keep him calm because
actually,
I knew what he was gonna go through.
Like even my messages, so many people resonated with like Uneeb's character or your storyline.
Yeah. That was wild to me. And I was like, I feel like everyone needed to do that. I think everyone had that initial reaction and they were like, what the hell did they do? They betrayed me. Because like, obviously it's like Hollywood. They have to give you a narrative.
You know what it is? I've thought about this so much. What it is, I think, is that like, we were part of filming, you know, so you film like hours and hours and days and days and days. But of course they have to condense it into these like 30-minute episodes. So like the gap from like what you filmed to what makes it to the show is huge. So it's like a shock to everyone, I think. Even me, I'm like, no, I promise I made this match because I had reasons and they just didn't make it onto the show. And like, the gap is huge.
It really is. Like our dates were over 4 hours long and they show maybe less than 10 minutes of it. Like it's condensed quite a bit. And like I know some people were like, oh, the dates were like superficial and these people are like not very deep, but like that's not true. Like a lot, if you watch the footage of like some of these things that were cut, like some of our conversations are really deep. Like I know that me and Pharrell, we talked a lot about how I volunteered a suicide hotline and how it affects like Muslim community and stuff like that. You know, like I think what happens is it's been over a year and a half. Everybody built this idea in their head about like what's going to make it, what's not going to make it, how you're going to come out. And when you don't see that, it's jarring, right? It kind of changes your perception. And the thing is like, you have to realize it's not your show, right? It's a collective and they have a narrative.
Everybody thinks like this show's about me because, you know, for the most part, the cast didn't interact with each other aside from the people you're meeting. You know, most of us are like, you know, us matchmakers is a different story, but you guys, like, it's
Yeah.
you're mostly all meeting kind of now.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of is in this bubble of like, okay, this is my story, my whatever, and you don't really know that there's like 10 other stories that are going to be like grouped
Yeah.
into this one season.
Yeah. To be fair, the producers are good at that. They're good at making you feel so comfortable, like you're the big star, you're the big star, you're the hero. This is your hero moment. They'll say things like they didn't use these words, and I'm just like, you. And I'm such a mark, like I'm so naive. I fall for it. I was like, what, really? Like, man. But yeah, someone said, when was the show filmed? My scenes were filmed of November the year before, so
2023.
or the 2023 November.
Okay.
When my stuff was, but I was a late entry. I think you guys already had people before you guys came to me.
We started filming. It was either end of August or beginning of September, I want to say, of 23. And then I wrapped like towards, I think, the end of February, because I had to. I was having a baby. So I was like,
first of all, shout out to you doing all of this stuff while pregnant. Like, you came to my house and like, I'm just like, oh, wow, there's a baby in there. Like, I'm just like, like to travel and do all this stuff while the baby, like, and you looked amazing. Like,
oh, thanks.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
By the way, your husband also looks amazing. Like, everyone's like, they're such a good couple, mashallah.
You should have seen us before these kids. I wrapped, I think, end of February, and I think they maybe filmed a little bit more after, of just like kind of like finishing up certain things.
Yeah.
But I think generally everything was done by February, March, I think, because Ramadan, I think.
February was my last. Yeah, February was my last.
I want to say it was done by Ramadan, I think.
I believe so. Yeah, it was definitely done. They didn't want to film after Ramadan. I know that.
Nobody would want to film. Can you imagine a bunch of fasting, hangry Muslims trying to like, talk
also,
about
like,
honestly?
Yeah.
Honestly, though, I would love to see them in that state, because then their true emotions come out, right?
Also, we're like
what they're
fatter
like when they're angry,
because we've been eating oily food for all of Ramadan. We're like, all come back 10 pounds heavier.
I would love to see that.
Oh man, I do remember I did film after I had the baby. I had to film some Zoom with somebody, and I cannot remember who it was, but it was funny because I had to be like, pretend that, you know, not pretend, but it's like we just like something didn't get caught on camera or something, so we had to do it again. And I was like, had my baby, like all these things happened. I was like, here I am, like stepping into this like thing again.
Yeah, that's the thing about this. Like, people are like, reality shows are fake, and the thing is, like, nothing in here was scripted. Like, nobody told me to say anything. Like, everything was real, everything was raw. I do think some things lack context, and that's because like they have to edit stuff out, right? So there is context missing. There is probably some goofs here and there, but for most part, it is real. But there are parts that are like acted out for, like, you need to connect the narrative, right? Like, for example, like, we needed to explain why Kieran's at my house. Like, she's just a random girl at my house, so we needed to explain why she's there, right? Yeah, my friend Kieran.
Yeah.
Your friend Kieran, right.
Yeah, neighbor.
I can't remember why did I know why she was really there.
Yeah, I'm down to tell them why she was really there. She was really there because we needed a chaperone.
There's a story?
Yeah, the real story is we needed a chaperone. So
it was my request. It was my request. I'll tell you guys.
And it was partially my fault too, because I think the assumption was my parents would be there, and my parents were in Pakistan. So she was like, whatchamacallit, oh, your dad's not gonna be there, your mom's not gonna be here. I'm like, no, they're not here. So she's like, oh, we need like a chaperone. We need someone there.
I don't like, you know, my real job is a matchmaker.
Right.
And obviously when we're filming, there's a million people in the room. Like, there's the cameraman, the crew, whatever. But I didn't want it to appear on camera that like I'm just alone with some dude, you know? It's not something I do in my normal life. Like, I don't you know, if I'm meeting a male client, like, I'm just gonna be one-on-one. I'm definitely not gonna go to their house, just me.
Right.
And even though, yes, there are people in the room, I didn't want it to reflect that way on camera, just because that's not authentic to my process. Yeah. So it's funny, like an hour before we're supposed, and filming it can be really last minute, like you know, like that day, like, hey, this is where you're going today, and this is what you're doing. And so I was like, guys, like, I need somebody else there.
Yeah.
So
and Karen is such a trooper. She showed up. She was ready to do it. She had great lines. The cast loved her. And
She was so cute.
But that was the first time she was at my house. She's actually never been in my house before.
Oh, that's funny. I
Yeah,
actually feel like I remember her saying that.
Yeah, so it's really funny because like on TV, it looked like we're best friends and we're buddies, and like I'm like, guys, this is not Kush Kuch Hota Hai. There's no like Dawson's Creek moment happening here. We're not that kind of friends. We're really good friends, but it's not like that. But it does give that impression, like, oh, she's over my house, she's making me chai.
Yeah.
I was like, we needed to have a chaperone. Yeah. That's what it was.
I almost even had my friend. So I like flew into New Jersey to do the scene, and my friend was living in Philly, and she drove up and spent the night with me just like for fun. We don't get. She's my best friend that actually introduced me to my husband. And so we don't get to see each other that often. So she drove up and like, she was ready to go. Like if I needed her to be at Uneeb's house. And then Kieran ended up being able to come.
That's funny. And it's so funny because like when Karen comes in, she invites you into my house. and I'm sitting there like this, like just like waiting for you to come in. And it's just so funny to me.
It's true.
This is what I'm living for. This kind of content, right?
Yeah.
Tells me all about the behind the scenes things, just like this.
So
this is
much.
Amazing.
It's we could never explain it all. Like it's like an out of body experience.
I will say though, like the cast was amazing. Like everybody is so nice. The camera crew, the mic guy, like the producers, like everybody makes you feel great. And like it's really, really nice. And like they know what they're doing. Cause like when you see the camera shots, I'm just like, this is a beautifully put together show. Like I thought like it's shot so well. Like the colors, like the way they focus on people, the way the camera angles are. Like I've never seen myself get a haircut and look that good. Like they missed the whole
process. Like they somehow made a pregnant person look good. Pregnant would never look good. No, they're like it was so vibrant. Like it was just I loved it. Everything about it was amazing. The crew was like, and to date, you know, we're still in contact with almost all of them. They are so supportive, so excited about the show, like just so cute. Yeah, there's a really funny comment.
That's funny.
Yo, show the comments, man. Let's go. Let's see what's in the chat right here.
What's the comment?
What is man group into house?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, some guy named
says,
Fahad.
wait, did Jazz watch the show or no? Jazz actually did watch the show, right? Yeah. Jazz, you need to be on the show. Yeah, let's get Jazz on there. Kieran was also recommended to be on the show. I was like, yo, listen, you already made an appearance. You should be on the show.
Who?
Kieran, my friend who was on the
I actually want to matchmake her. Like I remember we were talking about like potentials for her, but then we didn't get to continue.
We definitely should. Someone says, did you shop the show around? What was the process like with Hulu? And do they have a lot of Daisy type shows coming out? So
to be honest, I don't feel like I should or can speak to this part of the process. I feel like we should leave that for
might
like
be NDA'd.
So maybe they'll tell us in a year.
Yeah, maybe they'll tell us in a year. I don't know how it got to Hulu, but I do know that it was like emails were flying around for casting for a while.
Yeah, casting was pretty like a somewhat public thing. It was we had a like a official casting call go out, and then I also emailed every single one of my clients that I had at the time of like, hey, we're doing this thing. Do you guys want to join it? Some of the people in the cast were already like friends or clients of ours.
That's cool.
That's funny. Yeah, and by the way, Shaisa, I know you said I should be the next person on the show. I remember seeing the casting call and it specifically said New York and Los Angeles. And I was like, that's not me.
Really?
Well, I don't know.
I distinctly remember that.
There were a lot of people on the show who weren't on.
Yeah, I don't remember. There was, I wonder if you're thinking of a different show. There was another show a little bit before ours officially came out that was casting a Muslim matchmaker show that was in LA, but I don't think it ended up happening.
Oh,
I wonder if it was
a
that
different
one.
Show.
There was.
That is
but I don't think it ended up happening.
Yeah, well, whatever. We beat him to it.
I gotta say though, we're excited to have Hulu as our home. You know that they're championing this like Muslim show is amazing, and ABC News Studios for like putting in all the work to make this happen. You know, we are really, really grateful.
We're on the same channel as Rami, so like that's amazing to me.
Yeah. There's another show coming out that's like, I think it's a Muslim cast. I don't know yet if it's like if they're Muslim on the show, but Deli Boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jelly
Oh,
Boys.
it's
Yeah.
Desi, but yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, they are
we-
I
Muslim.
don't.
They are.
yeah.
They are Muslim, but I don't know if they're Muslim on the show. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Sagar was on our show. He actually
Sagar's
went
Muslim and
viral.
Asif is Muslim too.
Sagar went viral on our
Sagar
show.
he was Miss Marvel's brother.
Yeah. We had
Yeah.
him on
Yeah,
the Marvel.
I know Marvel things.
See, look at you. Now we just need you to watch Back to the Future. That's all you need to do. That was my thing. Oh man, so that's cool. Someone said bring it to Chicago. I think
Oh no.
I don't know about the show, but like your business is booming. I assume now, right? Like we got to talk
That's
about
a question
that.
I had.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
How is that going?
Hit me with that question, Jazz. Same question?
Same question. Yeah, because like I see my phone every night now. I still have the Salaam's app. I'm not actually actively on it, but every night I'm getting like Salaam's is buzzing tonight. I'm just like, this has happened right after the show launched. So like, what is happening here? Is it like your show? Is it
Probably.
your
I mean,
business as well?
the show is sparking people to just like go on more apps or think about marriage in general. But yeah, alhamdulillah, business is booming. Alhamdulillah.
Congrats.
It's like both exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time, if I'm honest with you. Like we put in, anticipating this, I put in a lot of like pre-work to make sure we'd be able to handle like a spike in clients and, hiring and training matchmakers. And my husband is like the best ever. And like, he has like this like tech and consulting mind. So he's been able to help so much with like, how do we handle
he's building
this?
your back end and
yeah. And he's been amazing. And so even though we prepared as much as we could, it's still nerve-wracking because it like I don't know if this came across on the show or not. I'm not sure. But like matchmaking is so important to me. Like being a part of like this journey for people is this very serious like thing that I don't take lightly.
Yeah.
Like people come to me with this like super vulnerable aspect of life and are, seeking our advice and our guidance and our help. And so it's like the Arabic word is like an amana. Like I don't know if that translates into like a responsibility, I guess. I don't know. So it's nerve-wracking to think of like, oh my God, can I actually do right by all of these people?
Yeah.
And I don't take that lightly. So
No, I get that.
yeah, it's really exciting. And like, of course, I part like a big part. Somebody said amana is trust. Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I did the show was like, hoping that it would help my business, of course. And so, yeah, it's like what we wanted and what we hoped for, but at the same time, like I think scaling any business is really difficult and it definitely comes with its challenges. Like we have like with our clients, you do a video chat with your matchmaker and like it's like getting so booked out that I'm like having to like call up my matchmakers like, can you add more days availability so that people aren't having to wait like weeks before they get to talk to somebody? And so yeah, it comes with its challenges as well, but alhamdulillah.
I could say that I am so happy with my matches. And like even though it didn't work out, spoiler alert, it was amazing because you paired me up with people that had so much empathy and grace for me. And like me being an anxious person, like I don't know if I could have done this with anyone else because like Frayal and Farah were just like after the whole thing happened, we kind of just like we kept in touch and like, we weren't like friends and talking every day, but like about the show, we would like reach out and be like, this new thing came out, this new thing. I'm nervous about this. I'm nervous about that. And like, there was a lot of like space for each other. And like, I really did appreciate that. So like, even though they may not have matched with me, on the show, I do feel like I'm really glad I got to match with them particularly because you could get matched with somebody who's horrible and leave the show slandering you and saying all these things over a miscommunication.
Oh, really? Does that happen?
I don't know.
Weird.
I wouldn't know. Luckily, I got matched with nice people, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I love that for you. I'm so glad. And honestly, I like, we've even before the show came out, like we keep in touch. We've kept in touch with pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
And like everybody has said the same. Like even if their match like didn't work out, long term and like go on to get engaged or married or whatever. Like they're so happy that they have that person to like discuss this with because it's like nobody in the world like can understand what you're going through as like especially as it came out and everybody's been saying like God I'm just so grateful that I can actually like talk to them about this even though we didn't work out we're still like have a connection of some sort.
No, it really is nice. And the thing is like it matters even though you might not be connected on a romantic level, you can still be a good human being to each other. There's no need to be like nasty to each other. So I think that's really important. We got some comments.
I was gonna say MH has one. This one specifically. You know, what were the top 2 most challenging aspects of screening candidates and then pairing them up? Did you actually screen them for the show, or did you just have like a list of things and somebody else screened them? And I don't know. Tell us.
Yeah. No, it was a little bit of both. So we had this like this casting call, and I think it was an actual casting agency that did that. And then I had like, you know, my clients who I had reached out to, or friends and people we knew. So I think casting would put out this list, and they would kind of send us like batches of people, like, okay, these are the people we've got. And then me and Yasmin would like look through of like, oh, I know somebody for them, or like based on whatever information we had, and like, okay, I think this could work out. And then, you know, they would do like calls, and Uneeb, you can probably speak to the other side of this, like being part of the casting process. But to my I was pregnant, so I don't remember a lot of things, but to what I remember, they would do a video call with like somebody where like, okay, that person could be interesting. Or maybe they did with everyone. I actually can't remember. And yeah, like if it was 2 things, like they had to work on camera, like they had to be somebody where we felt like, okay, they're going to be open, they're going to be genuine about this process. Like if you're not going to be like, if you're going to be closed off on camera and like not share about this process, then it wouldn't really work. And then, so that was like kind of one key component. And then like, who do we actually have a match for? Who can we match them with that is also like open and willing to go through this process? So it's kind of twofold. But Uneeb, you can tell us about like the other side.
Yeah, the other side was pretty good. So for first time I got gold, they didn't think I was serious because I didn't think they were real. So it's kind of like both ways. I was like, are you serious? And they're like, are you serious? Because when I filled out my thing, I didn't want to give them my address. I was like, I don't know what kind of scam this is. Because like, I don't know, they're going to send me like junk mail and stuff like that. So like, I was like,
do you a mail order bride?
Yeah, I put homeless. I'm like, I don't know. I'm homeless. I just wrote that. And they came back to me like, listen, there's one thing on your application that like bothered us. And he was like, why did you write homeless on here? And I was like, I didn't want you to have my address. So they were like, you almost didn't get selected because of this. And I was like,
that is so funny.
Yeah. That was because I didn't think they were real.
No, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But no, they had a conversation. And then like once I knew they were real, then I was like, okay, I'm gonna be real too. And then we had conversations. And I think I went like maybe 2 or 3 rounds of conversation with them about this. And then they had a background check, a social media check, maybe even a psych check. I don't remember if there was.
There should have been.
There was, right? There should have been. Yeah, I think there was a psych check.
Yeah, there should have been.
Yeah. So
you know what's funny on other dating shows like The Bachelor and whatever, they also do an STD check. But I was like, we Muslim, we don't need to do that.
That's true. No one's going that far. I couldn't even give a girl a high five on the show. We like missed.
I saw that. Yes, even for y'all at the bowling alley.
It was Farah. Yeah, me and Farah at the bowling alley. I got a strike and we go for a high five and we completely missed. It was so funny.
So
I was like, that's embarrassing, but also at least we kept it halal.
Halal gap.
Halal gap. That is so funny. Another comment. Hoda, what do you think is the most common thing people who are not finding love are doing wrong? Ooh, good question.
That's a really good question. Okay, I have like 3 different answers to this. Number 1, I think society is wrong. I think society is setting us up to fail, like with social media, with dating apps, with this like instant gratification thing we've had going on since like social media started. So that's just like a societal thing that is, I don't know, unless like the internet decides to just end one day, like that's something that I don't know we'll be able to remedy. Another thing, this is also, I think, a product of the society thing, but I think it's something we can actually work on, is unrealistic expectations. I don't think that people have realistic expectations of what a good partner is and what a good partner isn't. A lot of that I also blame on social media. You know, you see these highlight reels of people's lives and you think like, my spouse is going to be a model. My spouse is going to be a perfect chef at home. My spouse is going to be my best friend. They're also going to be my therapist. And the list just goes on and on and on. And because you're just seeing things that actually aren't rooted in like real life. And you expect that that's what your life is going to be like. But that person's life isn't actually like that. And so I think people get surprised when they meet somebody.
Yeah. You're comparing like your behind the scenes with other people's highlight reels. And that's not a fair comparison.
Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah. I think like you know, and I see this a lot, like and I think again this is because of society,
It's
but
society.
yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. But basically, I think people think like when you meet somebody, you're gonna have this like instant chemistry and this instant click. And if you don't have that, then this person is not for you. And if you do have that, then you're absolutely gonna go on to have this long, beautiful life and beautiful marriage. And those things are not mutually exclusive. You can have that spark and that chemistry with somebody, and that relationship could be horrible for you, and it might not work, and that person may not be good for you. Or you may not have that initial spark and that initial chemistry right away, but you give it time, our rules of 3. You give it time and you give it the attention it needs, and you could develop a very beautiful and very healthy relationship. So kind of just the unrealistic expectations of what a good marriage and a good partner really is, I think is something that's tough to navigate, because it's like, as a matchmaker, it's you want to like give your clients what they want. Obviously, like you don't want to ignore, the things that they're asking for. But at the same time, you have the experience and the knowledge of knowing like, okay, maybe what they say they want isn't actually what they need and isn't actually the thing that's going to serve them. And so, but you don't want to be pushy either. Like you can't tell them like, hey,
right.
You're wrong. You don't know what you're doing. Just listen to me. You might be thinking it, but you can't say it. And so kind of trying to find this delicate way to set somebody on the right path. And ultimately, some people are open to that and some people are not.
Yeah.
So that's my really long answer of living society.
My question is,
live in a society.
How do you decide who Yasmin gets and who you get? Because I'm like, I got the good one. I got the nice one. I'm too sensitive for Yasmin. I want to be crying. I was like, poor for y'all.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I got the nice one, thank God. But like, how do you decide who gets who?
Honestly, that was not our decision. It was that was a production thing. Some of us just general scheduling. Some of us couldn't, like, they have certain shoot runs, I think is what they would call it, of like, all right, we need to be filming during these days. Some of that I was on a trip in Germany, like seeing my husband's from Germany. We were with family over there. Yasmin has other commitments. So yeah, it was not really our decision.
But you guys work so well because, like, I was joking about it earlier, but she is so good at holding people accountable, right? Like, she doesn't let people try to get away with BS. And then you're like the nice one. Like, it's like good cop, bad cop. And it like works so well.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're like, Yasmin and I are so lucky. And I don't think we got to really talk about this much either, but we've been working together for years. Like, we met at a wedding. We've been just like friends, really good friends, actually, and been there for each other in so many personal parts of life. And then we were both approached separately about this show, actually, like them not realizing, I think, that like we already like are friends and do this together for years. And so we just like lucked out, like, to get to do this with somebody you already do this with and somebody who's a very good friend. Like we what's nice is we already align on our like philosophy about matching, like the rules of 3, like we already have that in common, and we have kind of a similar approach to life. Our style is different, but what I like is that I think they complement each other. We are able to kind of fill the gap that the other person needs.
It's good. It's good. One in the comments like, what's Bucky up to these days? Tune in next week and find out, because she'll be on the show soon.
Yay, that's so nice. I love that all the cast has like found each other. We found each other.
So someone introduced me to Bucky outside of Kava House, and like, she has an NDA, I have an NDA, and they were like, you guys should really talk. You guys have something in common. And we're both looking at each other like, do you know something? Like, do I know something? We're trying to figure out
that Rachel and Joey see
doing this. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Spider-Man meme.
Oh, that's what it is. Like, I have this in my head. What is it?
That was me and Bucky outside of Kava House. We're like, you. That was really funny.
Love that.
It was really fun meeting a lot of the people. Imran is another person I met. I love his story. He's a sweet guy. He's really, really nice. So many of the people are really nice. And like, some of the people like live right here. Like, I think like Noreen lives right here. And I was like, oh, I never really knew her.
Yasmin B lives near you now too. She's from Atlanta. Really? She was living in Atlanta at the time, but now she's on your side.
She's so funny. I thought
she's cool.
Hilarious.
I love Yasmin. Yeah, she's my good friend for many years. And so like, when we convinced her to do this, I was like, yes.
She's got jokes. And like, she had a tough day.
She's so funny. Yeah, I know.
But she pulled through like a trooper. Yeah, I like her comment. The first pancake is always burnt. I was like, yeah, it's so true.
Very valid.
Valid.
I don't know. I'm excited too. So these are people on your list, but was there a big pool for you to like choose from, or was like a lot of people like in your list but they don't want to go on TV?
Wait, say that again.
How did you decide? So you have like a big pool of people that are in your matchmaking list, and then you have also a pool of people who wanted to be on the show. How did you like, reconcile that? Like was there a big pool of people that like wanted to be on TV, or they were just like mostly people just wanted match service and didn't want to be on TV?
No, so I reached out to all my clients telling them about this opportunity, and several of them reached out like, yeah, I'd be open to this. And then there was the casting pool, which was a pretty sizable pool actually. I can't remember exactly, but we had like a pretty decent option of people to choose from, and it kind of just came together naturally, to be honest. Like it was just like, okay, yeah, I could match this person with this person, and it kind of just flowed on its own.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it true that one of these shows had a hard time finding good Muslim guys initially?
In our show?
Told me that. I don't know if it's true or not. Somebody told me that. I'm just like, is that true?
I think it's always harder to get guys than girls.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even in my business, like, I always have so many amazing, overly qualified, like, incredible women, and it's much harder to get guys to like sign up for this kind of service in general. So I think that's society.
Yeah,
society. Freaking society. But yeah, so I can't remember as far as casting. It ended up balancing out in the end, but I cannot remember if we had a particular difficulty with that. Probably because it's, I think, across the board kind of just a problem we have.
I feel you guys did a great job in getting a very like diverse cast, because it was like a lot of different backgrounds, right? We had a lot of Desi people, we had Arab, Black, Asian. It was a little bit of like everything. And then even, we even did like a cross where like, I went on a date with Farah, who's Lebanese. So it was cool. I really liked that there was a lot of mixture of people. And obviously you can only fit so many people in a show, right? Or else it becomes too many characters to remember.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like actually like priority number one for us. Like the way we were all looked at it, Yasmin and I, the Sinan, who is Muslim, they brought on Sinan Khashoggi for this show, like, because they wanted like somebody in the producer seat to be Muslim and have that vantage point. And Smriti, like that was like at the top of our mind when it came to how this show would look. Like I think we all felt like we got one shot to do this and to do it right. And like again, huge responsibility of like what are we showcasing and who are we showcasing? And this is a big platform. So it's like who knows like how far this show will go, but like at least this season we gotta like make sure we do the best we can. And of course, I think there's always room to include more people and all that. But I think for our start, we did a really good job of getting a good amount of like backgrounds.
Yeah.
Did you just hint that there's a season 2 already?
I did not hint at anything.
I don't think I haven't heard anything about that.
I haven't heard
anything. The thing that I like is that I don't know, I just really enjoy that we got to see all these perspectives of like different Muslims in America. But I think people need to realize that like that is the point of the show. Muslims in America, not Islam in America, right? It's not a documentary about Islam. It's about real experiences, right? We believe Islam is perfect, but we Muslims are not. You're going to see Muslims on this show that are range in variety, right? And they all deserve to find love. It's valid. Everyone deserves to find love, no matter how religious you are or how religious you're not. You still deserve to be able to find somebody who loves you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what we call like the core values. That's what's important. And you may be a little bit less practicing on the spectrum, but have really great character and have a really kind heart and pure intentions in this process. So yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of my followers and stuff like that are not actually Muslim. They're actually just like nerd people who like nerd content or reality shows.
Could we explain our demographics to Hoda real quick?
Nah, we don't need to go into that.
But like basically, let me know.
Well, like
okay. So I'll do it real quick. Okay. We have generally two groups of people who listen/watch the show. We have men under the age of 36 in the nerdy area, and then we have women 45 plus.
Okay.
If it was a Venn diagram,
white women 45 plus.
Yeah, this Venn diagram is two completely separate circles.
Yeah, that's amazing. So funny. That's so funny. I love that.
That's because I happened to go. The first time I ever went viral, reacting to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, where the woman goes, "Assalamu alaikum, bitches." I was the one who like made that go viral,
So
and
funny.
because of my reaction to that, and for some reason, all these white women started following me. I was like, all right, now I got a
We
platform.
love
Now I gotta
all of
do
you.
something. Yeah. So it's
You get
really,
the white women hooked in, then you know you're doing something right.
I know. That's how you know. That's how you know, right? Because like once Ramadan starts, they're gonna need to carry the weight of the show. Everyone's gonna get back on their team.
Oh, so funny. That's so true. Honestly, like
Oh,
when
we
they
just
were
got April's in the comment right now. April's in the Instagram comments, and she's like, "Yes, she's here as our resident white lady."
it's so
We
funny.
love you, April.
You guys want to do? I'm reading the chat thing. Do you guys want to do some questions?
Yeah. Let's do some more questions.
I'll let you guys decide.
Someone says like, I would like to thank you for promoting Muslim-owned coffee shops. You guys
Yes.
went out of your way to promote
good.
every Muslim business.
Yeah. So like we had so many chances to do these just like little touches of like how much of the community can we put in, and so the Muslim-owned business thing was like,
Yeah. Even stuff you guys don't see, because our travel agent who booked our hotels and our flights was also a Muslim travel agent, right? That was
That's
also a Muslim
awesome.
travel
I didn't
company.
even
Yeah.
catch that.
Yeah. She was like, I think her name was Fatima or something. Like she was this nice lady, and she did all of our travel for us and everything. And she
I
was a
think
business they hired.
I think we probably had different people. I don't remember.
We may have, I don't know, but
I
she
know.
was Muslim, and she was like,
Oh,
yeah,
look
it
at
was
that.
really cool. And then we had prayer breaks in our contracts. They offered us mental health counseling because of what was happening in Gaza. Like they tried.
This is something I want to talk about.
Yeah,
I want to talk about this.
Let's go.
Do it.
Yes.
So, we were like midway through filming when, things in Gaza
Yeah.
really escalated. And the team actually sent everybody that was part of the show, the production team sent everybody that was part of the show an email of like, hey, we're offering like counseling to anybody that's like impacted by this or, having thoughts and feelings about this. And like, I think several people like took them up on that, which I really respected, like the sensitivity that they had.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. And like, I think a lot of people on dates did try to talk about it and bring it up, but like, I understand why they cut it. Like narratively, it didn't make sense to just talk about it, or maybe they didn't want to come off too preachy, or maybe it just didn't fit, right? But they did let a few things slide, and like my bracelets got in, which was cool. And then
your poetry scene.
My poetry at the Palestine benefit, and then Farah got to like mention it also by name, which was also good, which is kind of good. I'm glad me and Farah had that miscommunication because we got a chance to drop that. But I think like there was efforts made. There was some stuff we could get away with, and obviously some stuff we can't, right? But I think effort was made, and it was really nice to see that some of it made it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. What else we got, Jazz? Someone says, I appreciate that there's finally a Muslim Matchmaker show. I feel like there was always going to be one. It's better that we take the reins and do it ourselves than like someone else.
Honestly, right? I can tell you, I've been a matchmaker for several years. I never once expected that I would have a TV show about it.
Yeah.
Never once crossed my mind until Smriti DM'd me in 2020. And then I was like, oh.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be on it.
I bet. I'm sure everybody thought the same.
Yeah. No, it was crazy. And then I did not expect the outpouring of support for my World Trade Center story. That was really like, all credit has to go to the producers, because like I did not plan to talk about that. They are just super smart. They found something that I was a little sensitive talking about, and they just kind of probed, and like before I knew it, like I was at a therapist's office and it just came all pouring out. Like I was like,
that scene was really special. I had friends like DM me about that. And like obviously we talked to you guys as matchmakers, but we didn't see you guys, like most of you, on your dates or in your intimate like interview style thing. So for us, it was like the first time to hear these stories too. It was really special.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. I really like the way they set that up, and they made it like relevant to my personality and why I like the things I like. So sometimes I'm just like really impressed. I was like, oh wow, that's cool how they weave that in there. But I really do I love all the people that are sending me like nice stuff, because like when I first watched it, I was in a different state of mind. I was like, oh no.
I had to message this guy like every hour on the hour, like trying to calm him down that day.
That's really nice.
I was like
that.
Yeah, I was like, because like I also like I was like seeing stuff. I was like, oh, he's 40 and not married. That's a red flag. And I was seeing
Oh,
this
were there
stuff,
like
and,
comments like that, or did you say
yeah,
that in the show?
yeah.
Oh, I have a story about that.
Yeah,
It
well,
was like this.
don't worry about that. But like the thing is, like
Okay.
I didn't get to share like why I'm 40, because like
Of
I had a
course.
whole conversation about that, and like and one of the nicest comments I got was actually from a producer who actually edited the show, and she says, "Hey, this didn't make it onto the show, but I really wanted to reach out to you and tell you that like the part that touched me was when I talked about like how I supported my family in my 20s." So, which is the reason that like I took so long to get married, because like I spent most of my 20s like supporting my family, putting my brothers through college, paying for my parents' house, sending them to Hajj. So like a lot of my like youth, where I would be looking for somebody, was I was the oldest son, so my responsibilities were like to put my family through it, and I was like, people don't have that context, and now they're just gonna think I'm some just loser who reads comic books and is 40 and
I
like
don't
can't get
think anybody
married.
thought that. I don't
I
think
know, but
anybody.
you get hyper aware of stuff like that when you're
Oh,
like in your own
dude,
head, right?
same. I mean, same. Like
Yeah,
100% same. To like, uh, for the record, I don't think genuinely anybody was thinking you're a loser or anything like that. Just to set
yeah,
the record straight. But I know what you mean about context. Like, there's so like again, you film so many hours and only like this much can actually make it onto the show.
yeah,
And definitely like for me, like I in my head, I didn't say this out loud, but there's so many like comments of like, well, why do they make these matches? And I'm like, there were reasons, guys. I swear to God, like
yeah,
there were reasons. They just didn't make it onto the show.
yeah, sure. Someone's asking on the Instagram, did you guys find any matches for Muslim reavers? That's interesting. That's
Ooh,
the
yes.
perspective we may not have seen
On the do they mean on the show?
on the show, I think.
You know what? We tried really hard actually to have a revert on the show, but we didn't find like the right person or the right matches to be made. In my real life business, yes.
Oh, real life business, yeah, tons.
Yeah,
Okay,
in my
cool.
business
Yo.
on the show, we did try. The closest we kind of got to like reflecting that vantage point was Fulani's parents.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, people were asking in the comments like, what is the name of your business and where can they sign up? And
Oh yeah.
drop your business, girl. Let's go.
All right. So my business is called Love and Shot Love, but the website is findloveia.com. And I need you guys to push this. We've had so many amazing women sign up after the show that we're actually running a free promo for men, because we want to make sure that there's like a good balance. And obviously it's a dating show. It's more geared towards women. So we did expect that. So men, there's a free promo. I don't know. Can you guys like push that out somewhere?
Yeah, let's do it. We'll push it out.
We'll put it in our comments, our link trees and all that. We'll get you up there.
Perfect.
Yeah. We'll put it in the description of the chat so you can find it on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, everywhere we are found. So we'll drop all of that, and then I'll also post it on my Instagram page. So we can make sure that we get more guys.
We want to have good men for these amazing men for these amazing women, inshallah.
Yeah, exactly.
I like how you caught that.
It's not a lie though.
Listen, I get it. It makes a lot of sense.
I mean, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah. What else do we got? Oh, somebody saying nice things about me. This one, I don't know. Did you get any pushback about the Palestine stuff? I don't think you would know that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about higher up internal discussions, but I don't know. I mean, our like the production team that we worked with, were amazingly sensitive to that, and how we had so many conversations of just like how we were all feeling, and they were like, just in general, their cultural sensitivity was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, after watching the show, I feel like every date was kind of lighthearted, and they took out any like really deep stuff that we were talking about, because it didn't set with the tone of the show. And I get it. I've seen shows where the tone's all over the place and it's not an enjoyable watch.
Especially as a Muslim show. Muslim topics tend to already be so heavy.
Yeah.
So I think that was the point. We wanted it to have these like, I love it. There's so much dawah. Like we got to like insert so much like Islamic knowledge actually. Yeah. Like in sometimes obvious ways, sometimes
I love that.
Yeah,
I loved it. Like you would have like little captions at the bottom saying, "What is istikhara? What is
exactly?"
White people know what istikhara means now. That blows my mind.
I know, like that part is like so special, and I don't know, like for the general Muslim audience, we're used to these conversations, so I don't know if it felt special to them, but it was special for us to be able to like put that out there. But Muslim topics tend to be so heavy and dramatic already, so I think that they had like a vision for that of like yes, we want it to have meaning, and you know, the work we do is serious and the conversations we have are serious, but we do want it to be joyful and lighthearted and fun, and I think that, you know, we did our best with that.
This is a great comment. Someone says, I actually recommend a recent convert to watch the show to get the culture of Muslims. I actually saw another comment from a revert saying it was really beneficial to see the many spectrum of how religious people are. Because sometimes when you're a revert, you feel like you have to be perfect. There's this pressure on
people and the community, society expects that. Like they expect yeah, there's so much pressure on reverts to go from like A to Z of like, all right, wear hijab, cut off your family, and don't have any like non-Muslim friends, and be every day, 100%, and it's ridiculous. Like, it's to be born Muslim, we're so lucky that like that's all around us. For reverts, like that is a journey, and like it takes time. Like,
I mean, even in the Prophet's time, peace be upon him, like everything was done gradually, right? It wasn't like overnight you had to stop everything.
Later, the rules were like the last thing to come.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. No, I totally agree with you. I don't know, this was a really great experience. It's a very nerve-wracking experience, so I'm not gonna lie. So if you want to be on this show, you've got to be pretty secure. Like, I feel like
dude, even me, like, and I didn't go on dates on this show.
I know.
Like, honestly, like this app since the show launching has been the biggest emotional roller coaster ever. Like ups and downs, really excited, and then really like, oh, I'm never doing this again. And like, just like, it's been such a roller
I'm definitely never doing this again, but for other reasons. I'm planning not to be single by the time season 2 comes out. There's no way.
Inshallah, man.
Inshallah. Please keep me in your duas, people. Pray for me.
No, yeah, I it's a roller coaster. It really is.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Are there moments that you said roller coaster, right? So right now we're on a high. Like, what were some of the low moments? I mean,
you mean
if you're comfortable talking about it?
Yeah. You mean after? I mean, I think it's weird. You know, something I didn't expect to like have thoughts about was actually like the privacy and safety of my family. Like, I didn't like process that, like, oh, like all these people are gonna kind of like know about us, and they kind of like show my house and stuff in the thing, and like, you know, it's not identified, like there's not an address and stuff, but like when I saw it, I was kind of like, even though I knew that like I knew they filmed those things, but like once it's out there and I'm like, oh man, like I have little kids, like that, the safety aspect really kind of like, and also just like the privacy of like, you know, I've always been a little bit active on social media. I'm pretty private. I think like I don't share a lot about my personal life. I'm very selective about what I share, and like I don't share my kids, and never will, and they will never be on the show or anything like that. But I don't know, it just kind of, I had this like hyper awareness of like, dang, all these people kind of like got this, like, you know, I don't know, we had scenes with like me and my husband, and like I don't know, it's kind of weird to think about all these people kind of like have been in our home, and like we talked about our marriage and like things like that. So that part was like something I didn't expect to have feelings around.
Yeah, like when you hear it, it feels like almost intrusive a little bit, but like it's a weird feeling. I totally get that. Like, it's like I see the inside of my house, and like people have seen the inside of my house. Luckily, there weren't like cobwebs and stuff like somebody else's house. Thank God.
oh, that's right. I remember that.
But man, it's still weird for people to see like inside your living room. It's a weird feeling.
It's more intimate than like you expect it to be, kind of seeing it and then having this awareness of like, dang, other people are seeing this too. Like everyone is seeing this.
Yeah. I mean, my sister-in-law, they got her name wrong in the thing. And at first she was like, what the hell? They got my name wrong. And then she's like, I'm actually glad they got my name wrong.
Yeah,
I kind of don't want it being out there. They're like, I don't know if I want my name being out there.
Yeah. No, I found myself, we have like a security system, but I found myself being like crazy about like, make sure the alarms are on and like make sure the doors are locked. And I'm like, dang, I didn't expect to feel this way.
Yeah. I mean, who would attack you? Like, who would?
Oh boy.
Someone says we need a season 2 update on Uneeb. Well, if there's an update, it'll hopefully be with my wife. Hopefully not be on the show.
Inshallah.
Someone said, are any relationships still going strong? I can only speak for mine, but things did not work out for me, but both Freyal and Fur are going to be on the show to talk about it a little bit. So if you want to know why things didn't work out with either one, come back on the show later this week and we'll share it. But do you know of any others that are still going?
I feel
strong?
like are you guys planning to have everyone on this show?
Say that again.
Are you guys planning
all
to
but
have
one?
Everyone?
Yeah, yeah. Anybody who wants to be on the show,
And I
who
feel like
is
I'm gonna let everyone speak for
emotionally
for
stable enough to be
themselves.
on here.
I don't want to
Yeah,
speak on behalf of anyone. Somebody
yeah.
asked me to share this business. No, we don't. We work together like as collaborators. Like often she'll be like, "Hey, I have this person I'm looking for. Do you have somebody?" And I'll do the same. But we don't do this specific business together.
Ah, interesting, interesting. All right. Well, that's that's pretty fascinating. I feel like your numbers are going to grow so much. You're probably going to be the biggest
Inshallah.
Muslim matchmaking business in America.
Good.
At least. So,
Inshallah. I hope.
inshallah.
Like if if that happens, it's all written by Allah, and if that's like my risk, I'm welcoming of that. But I also hope that I just do a good job. That's really more
Yes,
important to me.
please.
You're just trying
Make
to
them all fly to Houston. I'm so tired of people being like, Houston sucks. Like, no, just come here. You'll see what it actually is.
That's good.
And Houston has so many Muslims. It's crazy. Uneeb, I have a
Yeah.
question for you. I
Sure.
want what is your give me feedback as me as your matchmaker. I know it's different kind of being on the show
I
together.
feel like for my personality, I definitely needed you as my matchmaker. I definitely needed someone who's a little kinder, a little softer, because I'm hard on myself. And like if Yasmin like was like really tough with me, I would have been even tougher on myself and gone into depression. Like so I needed a little bit of hand holding, a little bit of like, no, you're not the worst in need. Don't be so hard on yourself. There were a lot of times where you're like, listen, it's not your fault. These things happen. And I kind of was like, it is my fault. Because when the thing happened with me and Farah, the miscommunication, I was like, this is the end of the world. Like it felt like such a
Oh, I remember
catastrophe.
that.
And like you were like,
I remember
no,
talking to you. I remember I could see you were so anxious. I could see that. I remember.
Because I'm just like, well, like, but yeah, man, I messed up. Like, I should not have invited other people to join us.
Happens, dude.
But I was also like, in my head, I was like, I'm making this date more halal. How could this be wrong? I'm inviting more people to come join us.
Listen,
But like,
I'll
I can
tell you this.
understand now.
In all my years of matchmaking, when somebody has the right intentions and their heart's in the right place, mistakes are going to happen no matter what. But if your intention is there, even if you weren't able to articulate it, you can always learn how to communicate better. Like that's a skill you can grow.
Yeah.
You can always grow in those things. But if your heart is in the right place, you're golden.
Yeah. I remember talking to you and like, I really needed that. I felt at ease. I felt a lot better about it. And like, I knew that you were going to talk to Farah and you were going to explain it in a way where like, it'll help her. And then like, I really thought like, I didn't think that me and her could be like good friends after that. Cause I was like, this is just really bad luck that this happened, but like it's over. Let's just cut it and run. But like we really were able to repair our friendship and everything, and it was really nice that happened. And I really do owe a lot of that to you.
Oh wow! Well, thanks so much. Keep talking. Just kidding.
Yes, talk more about your trauma bond. We love to hear it.
Tell me more about
it. Someone says, how do you get into this business, and what are your strengths and areas of improvement?
That's a really thoughtful question. Honestly, I've said this so many times. Matchmaking chose me. I never like grew up thinking I'm going to be a matchmaker when I grow up. Like, absolutely not. I've always been somebody that really values connection. Everywhere I would go, I would make friends. I get excited about the idea of meeting new people and connecting with people at a deeper level. And naturally, my thoughts would just go to like, hey, who can I connect this person to? And how can I, help them in this area? And, sometimes that's for like a job. Like I know somebody's looking for a job and I'll just be like, oh, who can I get them a referral to at this company? And I don't know why I'm holding this pen, but and then sometimes like a friend is moving to another city. Yeah. Like Yasmin B, for example, she reminded me of this and I totally forgot. So I knew her, prior to the show, and she had moved to Turkey. And I remember like I set her up with the one person I knew that also moved to Turkey. And she texted me the other day and she's like, you don't realize like you saved that experience for me because I had this one friend. And so it just reminded me of like, that's what I do. It's like 100% just like where my brain goes. I can't explain it. And like, I get this, like, maybe you guys feel this way about like your comic books and your video games and I don't know what, but like when I see that, like, there's two people who I'm like, they have to be together. Like, I know that this is going to work. It's like, I get like, my heart starts racing and I like get these like crazy thoughts and I get really excited. And it's like, it just is what I am. I don't know how else to explain it.
In the comic book world, we call that my spider sense is tingling. I think that's what it is. Exactly. Spider sense going on. Yeah. I think this might be one of our last questions, but what are your thoughts about dating apps?
Yeah. society. Just kidding.
Society. Yes, thank you.
A lot of Joker references here. I don't know if you know you're making Joker references.
Oh no, I don't know.
This
that.
is phenomenal.
She doesn't even
I've
know
been,
she's
like,
making
in
Joker
the comments.
So there's a movie called The
No
Joker where the guy goes in this society and like you're saying it over and over again and you don't
That's
even know.
so funny. No, I had no idea. Yeah, what was the question? I don't remember anymore.
What are your thoughts about dating apps?
Oh yeah. Okay, two thoughts. Do I think they've ruined us? Yes. Do I think they can also be a good tool? Yes. I think, look, if you look at them as a way to grow your network and you utilize it in the right way, and by that, and this is what I tell like anybody that comes to me like, hey, how do I make, better connections on a dating app? Talk to one person. Swipe on one person. Do not swipe on 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 people and like start a superficial conversation with that many people. You can't focus. You'll discount tons of people that may be good for you because you can never like get to any level of depth when you're like thinking about all these different people. Talk to one person at a time. Like, don't just swipe on like, maybe, like swipe on somebody that you're really interested in their profile. You think like, at least on paper, whatever you can see on the app, like, oh, like there's a strong potential here. Talk to one person at a time. If you use it that way and are so intentional about it, it can work for you. But what I always find the hardest about dating apps is like, you don't know everybody else's intentions.
Yeah.
You don't know what other people are on this app to do. You don't know what they're thinking about. What I love about having a matchmaking service is like, nobody's going to come to me unless they're very serious about getting married. You're not going to like go through this process. Well, you're not going to pay for it. You're not going to go through this process of like talking to somebody for an hour to like figure out what works and what doesn't. And like, have somebody vet you. And, you're not going to do that if you're not serious. So it's just this natural filter, which I really, really appreciate. The intentions are out there very clearly. And so that's the biggest qualm I have with apps is just like, you just don't know what other people's intentions are.
Yeah.
But I have seen people get married and like successful marriages happen from the app. So I would never say like, don't use them. They're garbage.
Yeah.
I think that there's a time and place.
I agree. I mean, it only takes one match to make it worth it, right? So I do think there is some benefit. But for me, like my biggest issue with the apps is that I'm diagnosed with ADHD. So like it's not made for me. Like I can't do the texting. I can't like the notifications and all that stuff. It's overwhelming for me. And if you match with more than like one person, it's even more overwhelming, right? Like I've accidentally ghosted people, not because intentionally, it's just out of sight, out of mind for me. It's not something I can do.
And it's for many people, it's the case. And it's like I've had matches where I'm like, oh man, this would be an amazing match. And they'll be like, oh, I met on a dating app. And I'm like, did you actually talk? And they're like, not really. And you're like, go to hell.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. I totally get that. Like, yeah, they're just not.
Say that again, but very slowly, please.
I feel like this is a personality that you didn't get to see of me on.
No, we did.
I want more of
it.
She's like this cute little pregnant lady, and now she's like, go to hell.
I will say, like, doing the show pregnant, like, I was so tired all the time. I was like, oh my God, the last like month of filming, I was like 9 months pregnant. So I literally have pictures of like in between like scenes. I'm like sitting with an ice pack on my swollen legs, like shoes off, like dying.
So funny.
I need to like post some of those behind the scenes pictures. But I feel like I was so tired that I feel like, yes, I think I am very much like the calm, nice, like that is a huge part of who I am. But I feel like I was just so tired that like I couldn't even like make these jokes. We did have like a behind the scenes joke of where they would call me hormonal Hoda because there'd be moments.
Oh no.
So everyone's so used to just me being really sweet and really nice. And there'd be these moments and like pregnancy hormones are real where I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Like just like frustrated at I don't know what. And it was like a running joke between the crew, like, oh, hormonal Hoda.
That's so funny. That's hilarious.
Oh,
I hope they give us like
about that.
an episode of just like all the outtakes of like all the wildness that happened behind. I would love to see that.
I totally forgot about that, honestly, until right now.
Yeah. No, I really hope that you guys get a season 2. The thing with me is like I know since I've met people, I know what people's intentions are. People really did try to do right by our community. They really, really did, right? I don't know what what's the process of things getting through, but I know an attempt was definitely made. And 100%. I really do appreciate 100%. That.
100%.
They
And
had the best
I
of
think
intentions for sure.
yeah, and it's a learning experience for all of us. Like everybody that, as far as cast that did this is the first time. Like definitely,
Yeah.
like if we do a season 2 and all that, like I would know more things going in. Like, okay, like you really have to say certain things if that's what you mean. Like things can't, like now I have the awareness of like things can be taken out of context, or like, like I
Yeah.
think it would be easier to do it again just because the first time I was like, I don't know anything about how this world works,
Yeah.
But
Right?
they really were like very intentional, and I so appreciate that.
Yeah. And look, everybody makes mistakes, and like, the good thing about getting a season 2, you'll get to learn from your mistakes and even have a little bit more, I would say, like, you can push around a little bit more, get your way a little bit more once that
Yeah,
happens.
yeah, I
You
would
can't do
definitely
that
like
when you're still doing a pilot and you're trying to get the show off the ground. It's really
totally,
difficult.
totally. You don't want to like step on anybody's toes. You don't want to, but like, yeah, I know for myself, like if there was season 2, there'd be certain things that I would like emphasize more, or like, put my elbows out
Yeah.
on a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I will say, and I've talked with like almost everybody that was on this show, and like even though all of us, like every single person definitely has like that knee-jerk reaction of like seeing themselves, for the first time, and
Yeah.
kind of that, like we said, up and down emotion. Every cast that I've spoken to, which is most, has like still like left this experience like, I'm happy I did that.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it was hard to see, and like, you have certain feelings about certain things that were edited a certain way or whatever it may be. But like everybody's like, you know what? Like, I'm grateful I did this experience. All of us are like all in touch with each other. Like we all, for the most part, like wrap this up on like in a really good place, which
Yeah.
is, I think, special. Like I don't know, I've never done any other shows, but I don't imagine that happens for every show.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I feel like sometimes, like, if you're chronically online and you're defending every little person saying anything bad about you, you're just gonna make
Yeah,
it
I
worse.
haven't said a word because I was like, I can't do this to myself. Like
Yeah.
in the midst
Good.
of like all this crazy show, I'm like, I have 2 kids who are like getting sick every day, and like my business that
Yeah.
I'm working on, and like
Oh.
if I'm like trying to like sit here and go tit for tat of like, well, you're lying, but like whatever, I'm gonna let it be. Like if I sit here and go tit for tat, like I will lose my mind, and like I won't be able to focus on my kids, and like I will like,
Yeah.
so I like, yeah, I'm reading stuff and I'm watching stuff, but I like made a mental like thing to myself, like I'm not getting involved in any comments, nowhere. But honestly, like every single DM I've gotten, not a single one has been anything negative. Like
That's good.
literally not a single one. Like alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah,
like
yeah.
every message or email that I've got, like for both Muslims and non-Muslims, has been so like supportive and positive, and like I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. No, I appreciate. I've again, like, I've had a lot of people reach out to me who aren't Muslim, who were touched by my story, and that means a lot, that it can get out to them and they can learn a little bit about the Islamophobia that we face day to day, right? There's people who face way worse than I got, and it's definitely something that I'm glad that was, shared with the world. Even though it was painful for me, it was almost like healing to just see it out there in the
Yeah.
world. And
Yeah.
it's almost like I've been holding on to this pain and I finally let it go.
I love that for you. But actually, the racist comments were my favorite comments. Like,
I love them.
They were so good. I was like, give me more. There was one comment. It was, it was so funny. It was.
They're creative.
It was Sim Salabim. And I was like, how do I know exactly what this means without knowing at all what this means? Like, I know exactly what they're saying, and I also have no idea what they're saying.
My favorite comment, if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, there's like this like conservative Republican saying this show is awful, it's a cult, blah blah blah, and then there's like a really conservative Muslim saying the exact same thing, like this show is demonic Muslims, they're not real Muslims, like that. Like, you're on the same page, you know that? Like the crazy Republican racist and the super religious like person, they're on the same page. And I'm like, I don't know what that says about you, but like you guys are on the same page, and that's kind of weird.
No, they were my favorite. Like me and my siblings just like sat and read them. It was so funny. There was another one. It's like it said like Jabby Barbie or something. I was like, I don't know if this is an insult or a compliment. I'm not really sure. They were so funny. The Simpsons Solomon was my favorite.
That was amazing.
That's a deep cut.
How do I know what this means without knowing what this means?
That's a deep cut reference. That's funny. All right.
Oh, God,
before we go though, anything else you want to say? Any last thoughts? Anything last thing you want to plug?
No, I'm literally crying from this. Is so funny. No, I'm good. Oh.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you being my matchmaker. I'm really glad I got to go through this experience with you, and I'm really happy that like all of the success that you're gonna have from this show. So I
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Good luck to both of you in marriage endeavors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you everybody on Instagram. And until next time, guys, Salaam nerds.
Salaam.
Peace.